From the Patricia Lindley Studio in the Patricia Lindley Center for the Performing Arts, welcome to another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes. I'm your host, Bill Berger, and today's show is being brought to you by the Colonial Barbershop located at 121 West Herrick in downtown Wellington. Today, we are going to be talking football. Most of the season, I realize, is done, but still we have things to talk about presently and in the future. To my immediate right, we have Coach Rob Howells, and to my far left, we have Deacon Worth, and to my nearest left, we have Ashton Rossler. So welcome to all three of you. Coach, we're going to start with you. Last year, we lost 12 seniors to graduation, so thoughts on the season so far this year?
I think we're doing well. We've been getting better every week, and, when you lose a lot of leadership like that, it kind of hurts. But we had 7 returning seniors this year, and they're doing a great job leading us so far this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking at the first 4 Lorain County games, we have some offensive leaders. In rushing, we have Will Sippo Sutton. He's rushed for 278 yards, averaging 4.5 a game. Each time, and Barron Turner, 235 yards, and he's averaging a great 8.4 yards per carry. So, and in passing, Landon Wright is at 55%. He's 42 for, let's see, I have it down here. I do, yes, 42 for 45 for 82, sorry, 55%, 5 touchdowns, and in receiving, John Kinter, 16 receptions for a total of 256 yards, averaging 6.0. So we have a good offensive, leaders for the team. Your thoughts on them and on defense?
Well, the first thought offensively, and with all those names you read, is they're all back next year.
Yes.
So that excites me, and they're in the top 10 in our league. So that's huge for us, and they're doing real well. They're doing everything that's asked of them. Barron and Will run the ball hard, and they bring 2 different styles of running the football. Landon's getting better each and every week with his passing, and to be 55% over half completion percentage is nice.
Sure.
And Johnny's a big time wide receiver. He's got baseball dreams, but I think he can also make it big in football as well.
Mm-hmm. How about on defense?
Defensively, again, a lot of those same names go over there, mm-hmm. and we lost one that we might talk about later, but. They fly around and rally to the football and have done real well. Defensively, we're led by Connor Shepard. He has 75 tackles on the year, and he's filling in for Trey Moore. So had to make a little bit of a scheme switch, but, the guys take to it, and we've been doing a lot better.
Well, perfect transition. Last year, we interviewed Trey Moore and Alex Frank. Unfortunately, Trey got injured in the first game, injured his shoulder, I believe. But Alex has really filled in very well as the number 1 place kicker, and he even got some quarterback time in last game.
Yeah. We changed up our defense mainly because of having Trey Moore back. He started 5 games as a freshman, had 10 tackles in a quarter. Then unfortunately got hurt, and then we had to change our defense again because we didn't have him in the middle. So that was a huge loss on the year. But Alex Frank, again, started kicking last year as a freshman. They both lettered last year as freshmen, and he can make any kick in a kicking game. We'll squib it. We'll go deep. We try to do different things when we're mm-hmm. kicking the ball. To have that extra point almost guarantee is huge, too. We've won football games because of that. Mm-hmm. And, he's hit 40 in practice. Haven't seen that in the game yet, but he's hit from 27 in the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, and his extra points, as I said to you earlier, they go way over the goalpost. So he's got a great kicking leg, and he's only a sophomore.
Yes.
So that's great. Well, we started out the year with 44 players on the roster. Mm-hmm. I believe we're down to 42 now, you were saying. Yep. This will obviously be going after all of the football season is over, or maybe one game left. Got to know your recruiting secrets. We have one of the smallest, if not the smallest school, yet we have one of the biggest football teams.
Yeah, this is my 6th year here in Wellington and 4th year of having over 40. And with graduation numbers in the 80s, that's huge. And, it's not all me. I think, firstly, thank you to the district for getting me in the building so I can see the kids on a daily basis in the hallways and talk to them and build those relationships in the classroom. But then the kids, we deliver a great experience for football. It's a tough game. It's a team game, but there's a culture and atmosphere that's starting to build down on Dixon Street, and the guys go out and recruit their buddies to come and be a part of it, and I think that's special.
And one of the things that I've noticed is the fact that when the guys come out of that inflatable tent there, the excitement is obviously palatable. I mean, they are really ready to go. And it's a testament to you and all of the coaches for that matter. And speaking about the coaches, if you could name all the coaches, if you can remember them all.
I'll start defensive coordinator, and this is one of the highlights of my coaching career, and forever will be, is coaching with my brother John Howells.
Exactly.
Head track coach Matt Kimmick does our special teams, and he's on staff. Another track coach, and Dylan Lowry, does double duty and helps with the O-line, D-line, and offense. And then you have Tom Hicks and Gary Huff, who are old Oberlin assistants who have come down and helped us the last 2 years.
Well, we appreciate the shout out to all the coaches, and we appreciate you talking about the season so far this year. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the future and what's going to be happening next year with the 2024 football team. This is Dialogue with the Dukes.
Colonial Barbershop, the oldest and best barbershop in Ohio. Established in 1872, we are a 150 years young family business in Wellington, Ohio. Come and get your haircut on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or on Saturday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m.
We are back. We hope that if you need a haircut, you visit the Colonial Barbershop located at 121 West Herrick in downtown Wellington. They are the oldest and best barbershop in the state of Ohio. During the first episode, we talked with Coach Howells about what's been going on this year on the football team. And now we're going to bring in both Deacon Worth and Ashton Rossler. We're going to be talking about the future going into next year for the 2024 football team. So welcome to, again, all three of you. Deacon, we're going to start with you first, and I want to talk about the fact that we have you on the, granted you play safety most of the time, but you also play wide receiver. And we're going to talk about what's going to be happening on the offense next year. Your first question is going to be, what are your goals for not only yourself, but the team next year?
I would say my goals are to obviously get better and move up on the depth charts, try to start somewhere on offense and defense, maybe get some special team spots. But I also want the team to make it to playoffs next year, go somewhere or even farther.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great. Well, Coach, what's the importance of playing underclassmen this year going into next year?
I think it's huge every year, and to be a program again in high school football, we don't get to recruit necessarily and pick our players and go out and get those guys. So we have to develop them. So to get them that Friday night light experience and get them opportunities is huge for their growth, up until their senior year.
Mm-hmm. Well, both these gentlemen are sophomores, so they've got another 2 years to go. So that's certainly important for the team. Deacon, how will you support the offense next year? Granted, if you play most of the time on safety, but as a wide receiver, you're going to be getting some playing time too, hopefully, if nothing else, maybe even on special teams.
Yeah. I'll just help by, someone gets hurt. It don't matter what position I'll go in. I may not know the position, but I'll learn. Mm-hmm. Say, if Kenner gets hurt, of course, I'm going to be going in and then helping him out until he's, healthy. Mm-hmm. Or whenever he's ready to go in.
And you certainly must learn an awful lot standing on the sidelines and watching what the receivers are doing, especially John Kinter, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. Yeah. But the fact that you can stand on the sidelines and watch what they're doing and things like that's got to help. Exactly. Well, you were talking about the seniors that are going to be playing this year. They're going to be gone. So what are your plans for next year?
Well, again, have our sophomores and juniors and freshmen that have gotten experience this year to step up and fill those roles. Adam Mahawk's a graduating senior, so we very may well see Deacon opposite of John Kenner. Mm-hmm. You just never know. So we'll see how the offseason goes. Each year's a new battle. Again, we try to change things to fit our players, and that's what we'll be doing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, what do you think, how will you, shall we say, on offense now, how do you actually avoid serious injuries? Coach and John Bowman had a little interview with Dialogue with the Dukes last year, right after DeMar Hanlon got hurt so badly. The Buffalo Bills Safety, the defensive back. So how do you actually, how the coaches taught you to avoid serious injury?
I would say on defense, they just taught us how to tackle, stay low, go at the waist, and then wrap and drive. But there's really, I don't even know how to say, get protected from, getting hurt or anything.
Don't lead with your helmet, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That'd be the worst thing, exactly. Well, Coach, as far as the offense goes, looking into next year, talking about John Kinter and so on, and Landon Wright and so on, from the offensive side of the ball, what are you predicting? And not going into the last question, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah, again, just for them to get better. That's our goal every day, is to get better each and every day, win the moment. And, all the previous 2 years, really, because they started as sophomores as well. Hopefully they can take that next step, and, we'll put a system around them that we think will be best, not just for those two, but then for our running backs and Barron and Will. And we have some talented freshmen and sophomores coming up that are going to compete and battle for those positions. So, just to, take that next step forward and have better stats than they do this year.
Let's give a shout out to Will Sippo Sutton. He wasn't one of the featured running backs at the beginning of the year, but he came into his own. I can't remember which game it was, but he literally came into his own about midway through the season.
Yeah, he really has. He's been a nice surprise. I've always thought highly of him from even watching him as a 5th, 6th grader through junior high, and he's trusts the process. We had talented running backs last year in Josh Nocella and Nathan Patfield, so he didn't really get a chance Friday nights, but he's made the most of it so far this year.
Well, now we want to talk with Ashton Russler, offensive and defensive lineman, but we're going to be talking about the defense primarily. This gentleman is 215 pounds, and I don't think I'd like to line up against him, as small as I am. So your first question again, just like Deacon, what are your goals for yourself and for the team next year on defense?
Well, for myself, it's mainly to get bigger and better and just come back next year with a more aggressive attitude. And for the team, I really want to see us come back with a bully mentality.
There you go.
Even if we can't win conference, I want to see us be a dominant defense and just shut down offenses like Columbia and Clearview.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in the offseason, what kind of a program do you use to set yourself up defensively?
I do what my coaches give me.
Okay. Weight room, any type of either running skills or anything like that, as far as on the defense specifically, on the line?
There are certain drills and camps that I can go to that sometimes I do, but unless they're too far, I don't go to them. But I try and go to some of those camps and stuff because they are just another way to get coached outside of Wellington. Not that there's anything wrong with Wellington.
Exactly. Well, Coach, how will the defensive returning linemen from this year help us out next year?
Oh, man, we're going to need them to, because we're losing 2 big ones in Nolan Sasak and Devin Diedrich to graduation. So we need young guys like Cade Spangenberg, who's a freshman who's been playing, Ashton Rossler, who's a sophomore, who's been playing, to step up and fill those voids. And, again, there's other guys that, we're not talking about that I'm very excited about. Freshman Tyler Burns is one name that comes to mind. Colton Manning, who's a sophomore. They've had great JV seasons and have been pushing to be a backup and rotational guy so far this year.
We're starting an awful lot of underclassmen, especially freshmen this year on defense. So that's got to bode well for the team next year.
Yeah, you only hope. Again, high school football isn't like most years really don't roll over. It's a new year every year and a new set of challenges, but, hopefully that experience does pay off for us.
Exactly. Well, Ashton, how will you strive to be a leader on defense next year?
Just really bring it to practices and not to put fear in my teammates, but just my opponent in general. Make people really push themselves in their limits.
Is there as much camaraderie during practice as there is, like I see when you come on the field? Is there as much camaraderie during practice?
Yes. If anything, it's more vocalized during practice.
Coach, without letting any secrets out, but 2024 is a long way away from now. As far as the blitz, certainly looking at the game last week, You may not have been blitzing, but you were getting to the quarterback very easily. How much will blitz play into the defense next year?
Blitz always plays in. We're a huge blitzing team. It might not always look that way, but every play call we make, there's a blitz involved. So it'll always have a huge caveat to what we do. And again, we have a lot of guys in the secondary that'll be second or third year starters. So we, will end up putting a lot of pressure on them to make plays, but the blitz is definitely going to be a huge part of what we do.
Well, Ashton, looking into next year, can you maybe predict how, especially on the defensive line, can you predict how things are going to be doing and how you will strive to actually do better like you were talking about?
I can't read the future, but I'd like to say that our team will really try and step up to what we were this year and maybe even go past that.
What kind of changes? Like we have graduating seniors. What kind of changes do you see coming next year specifically? And maybe you can talk about on the offensive line too.
Some changes that I would hope to see at least would it be seen as more of a business action, not just fun. Because yes, football is meant to be fun, but with your hand in the dirt, it ain't exactly fun.
Yeah, eating dirt is not fun, right?
Nope.
Especially on the line. Exactly right. Well, Coach, I'm going to ask you the same question that I've asked you, I believe, for the last 2 years. And that is a fill-in-the-blank question, and that is, I predict next year Wellington High School football will...
BLCA champs.
There you go. So there's some challenges to both of you two on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Well, we'd like to thank both Coach Rob Howells and Deacon Worth and Ashton Russler for talking to us about not only this year's football team, but going into next year and predicting as best we can what the football team will look like in 2024. So thank you to all three of you, and we will be back very soon with another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes.